Welcome to the Social Podcast, where no discussion or debate is off limits.
Thank you. Wow. This is special. Well, have a seat. This is very special. It's special not only because we have Alberta, Saskatchewan, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, Ontario, and New Brunswick in the house, so that's a special day. Okay? Also special, we have what we affectionately call here on the show sort of our VIP Platinums. And who are these people? They are people who have collectively been coming to the studio audience live literally hundreds of times. So they are here today. Shout out to our VIP Platinums, and especially Denise Seibel, who is part of that crew who's celebrating a birthday. So happy birthday. And Franco is, come on, everybody's here. All right, you know who else is here? Stand-up comedian and writer Julie Kim is here.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited in my house. You know why? Taylor Swift's new album just dropped. Oh!
Wow.
Apparently none of y'all are as excited, but that's okay. Listen, it's called The Life of a Showgirl. The brand new album dropped at midnight, but one song in particular, it's getting a lot of attention today as everybody's now quickly listening to the entire track list. The song is called Actually Romantic. Now, it doesn't mention any person by name, but if you are listening to all of her fans and the sleuths on the internet, it sounds like to them, this song is a clear swipe at singer Charli XCX. So in it, Swift calls Charli out. Swift calls out Charli for calling her boring Barbie and being mean to her at the time that she was dating musician Maddie Healy. Okay, Julie, people are calling this a diss track.
All right.
A diss track, yay or nay?
Well, first of all, I have to say that the one person in the audience who was not impressed with Taylor Swift is the one wearing sequins, and that is... It's
That makes sense.
very uneven. I would have pictured you in the front row, but that is okay.
You can't hide, I'm sorry, you can't hide.
I'm being blinded. I need sunglasses. Anyways, I have to admit that I have not yet heard the song, but I am excited. Not like super excited, but I will listen to it. Generally, I like a diss track. I think we have learned that our society's in a place right now where we love revenge and justified rage. We saw it with Kendrick and Drake. I think that's all I'm allowed to say on Canadian TV. But I will say I like the idea of a diss track. I also think that aren't most songs diss tracks in a way, about something, even broadly, about love, I hate mom, or my mother-in-law, or something like that. So this is just kind of specific. The last thing I just want to say before I let other people talk is that if I listened to the song, I would not have been one of those people on the internet that registered it as a diss track, because when I listen to music, I might be rare, I listen to the melody and the beat. I like the sounds. I don't listen to the words. I could be listening to a song and singing the whole thing and not know what I was doing. I could be crying and they could be like, it's about a lover who died in a fire. I'm like, no, I'm crying about my dog. You know? I don't listen to the lyrics. Do you? I don't know.
I understand that. It's a banger or it's not.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about this diss track?
Well, diss tracks in general, this diss track, I feel like the way I feel about most diss tracks. I usually don't know who's doing the dissing and who is being dissed, because I just don't know a lot about popular music. I'm not bragging about that. I'm not proud of it, but I kind of feel like some people in the audience did. I'm not mad about it, but you know when you watch maybe a nephew or your kids put on a play in the living room and you're like, ooh, now you're a dragon. Ooh, now you're a pirate and you're fighting. Oh, it's so good, sweetie. It's so good. Kind of like that. I'm like, that's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun, but I don't care about the play you just put on. Yeah.
I love that. Well,
You like them?
Well, here's the deal. I don't like them, but I'm also a hypocrite for saying it because I've enjoyed them. I've shaken my rump to them in many a club, and now I'm in a later. Do you see how I almost took a position? But now I've taken a totally different position on it because, as you've mentioned, listen, diss tracks have been part of musical history for a very long time. But I'd say there's one genre that's turned it into an art form, and that is hip hop.
Yeah.
Right? We have turned it into a true art form. And last summer, we saw Kendrick Lamar's song, which one of you mentioned it, turn into something that was beyond anybody's expectations, who were the dissy or the one doing the dissing. And it resulted in him winning a Grammy on that song, winning an Emmy for his performance during the Super Bowl halftime. And even though I went to the concert and enjoyed it, there's something that's changed where it's becoming more sinister that I don't like. And currently right now there's another rap beef going on between Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. And what started off back in 2017 of kind of subliminal diss is like what Taylor's doing has resulted in these two women insulting each other's children and making fun of their fertility issues. Right? Which is terrible. But you know what the problem is? We're the problem. You know why? Because we hear these subliminal songs and then we take to the internet, we take to our TikToks, we do podcasts about it, we have memes about it, and then we fuel that fire. And I think that forces the other artists to be like, oh, she's dissing me? I'm sure Charli XCX's people are like, you know, Taylor said something, we gotta say something back.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you gonna do? And I'm sure the Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high, goes out the window. So you have to go low for a diss track, and then it disintegrates into something where we're not even paying attention to the art.
But here's the thing.
We're paying attention to people being really mean to each other. And that, I'm stepping away from it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, with all the examples that you mentioned, whether it's Kendrick and Drake or Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, you know, those are almost like a tit for tat. You know, people might disagree with me, but I would say it's sort of equal artists. They're going back and forth. It might be kind of part of the art. But in this case, I will say this, and please, Swifties, don't come for me. I have a Swiftie in my house. But in this case, even though Charli XCX wrote the first diss track, she wrote a song on her big album, and it was called Sympathy is a Knife. And everybody says, oh my gosh, it's about Taylor. So I would argue she actually took the first swipe. This is maybe Taylor's response. The difference is, Taylor is so big, why does she need to punch down right now? She's so big for this. Why are you even thinking about Charli XCX? And that's not a diss on Charli XCX.
All petty, because no matter how rich and famous we get, we're petty.
we are.
Just like us.
We are petty.
Just like
but
us.
she's so big.
Yeah,
so
it's a great point.
That's the only, and the album is great, but she's so big, you don't need to do this, Taylor.
Well, let's go from pop royalty to actual royalty, because Prince William got personal in an episode of The Reluctant Traveler with Eugene Levy. He spoke about the pain of Princess Diana and King Charles' divorce and said feelings of safety, security, and love lasted until he was 8 when they split up. He said, as a parent, you try and make sure you don't make the same mistakes that your parents did. So do you guys make an effort to not repeat family mistakes as adults?
Yeah, so I think I'm knocking it out of the park because I refuse to get married. I'm playing.
Not applicable.
I'm playing. But let's take it back to William. By the way, I don't think I've ever heard him talk about his parents' divorce publicly, so that was a first.
He left that to Harry.
Right? Yeah. Well, Harry's really had lots to say. But I'm just thinking, you know what? Divorce and family drama is uncomfortable for everybody, but could you imagine at this very delicate age of 8, your parents are living out your worst nightmare publicly, and people are writing books, and everybody's got something to say. Do you remember that time? His mother was being harassed. Everywhere she went, there were paparazzi. So I'm sure he's looking at that. Oh, yeah, remember the Camilla stuff? And that phone call that leaked with all this?
Yes.
Could you imagine having to deal with that? So I'm sure he's looking at that through a different lens, but his parents going through that actually helped him, because there was always a way of things being done in the royal family, which is you had to get married and you weren't allowed to divorce. You were never allowed to divorce. And then his parents changed that. And I think his mom standing up for herself allowed him to say, yeah, I want to marry someone that I love, not someone who you're telling me this is the right person to marry. So it's a tricky situation for him because he had the added pressure of everybody watching. But I think we're all thinking we want to do better than our parents. But I think it's naive of us to think that our parents didn't choose based on what their parents did. I'm sure that my mom was like, I don't want to be like my mom, so I'm going to choose a different guy. And her mom said the same thing.
It's easier said than done.
Right? But if we were all doing better, wouldn't we have figured it out by now?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, right? I feel like my mom sort of I don't have to make the same mistakes she did because she corrected those mistakes with me when I was little. Like, she didn't have a lot of confidence growing up, and she had some body issues, and she made damn sure that I didn't have those same issues. Maybe she even overcompensated. But with my dad, I feel like I do have to make a concerted effort to not make the big mistake that he kept making, maybe not his whole life, but particularly in the last 5 years. He passed away in May. And he believed, I actually am cribbing this from the obituary I wrote for him, he believed nothing was odder than our existence. And he spent his life trying to unravel the mystery of it all, often at the expense of just living. And it was kind of like, Dad, you're being distracted by like, what's going on in your head? We're right here, we're happy, do you know what I mean? And so that wasn't, especially in the last 5 years, you just want to shake them. You're like, we're happy.
Live while you're alive.
And I think a lot of people probably perceives me as somewhat joyful. Yeah. But I think I got to
I mean, not right now.
No.
But I'm feeling the fire.
So on a recent episode of Dax Shepard's Armchair Expert podcast, his wife, Kristen Bell, opened up about how she wishes she dated around, or as she said, butterflied more before settling down with him. So what do you think about this idea that you should, that you should butterfly before getting married? Julie, what do you think?
Okay, the first thing that I thought when I heard this was I'm always thinking about food, so I thought about like a butterfly chicken breast, like legs open. So I thought, that is very dirty. But then, then I realized that she meant like, I wish I was like a butterfly flitting around to different flowers, like to be a slut or whatever, right? No, it's true. That's what she means. I wish I had more sexual relations in life or whatever, which is fine. I think a lot of people say that, especially if they marry early or don't have a lot of experience, which is fine. So I think that's fair to wish that you went around to more flowers, but I would caution that one of those flowers could have chlamydia. So just being happy with where you are at life.
Wow. Wow. You just cut right to the chase. Hey, Julie?
Yeah. I don't want to go over.
Butterflying. Listen, I did my fair share. This is where I say to my husband, please don't watch this episode. I did my fair share of butterflying. And in fact, I would encourage my daughter not to just butterfly, even though you used other words. It's about living life. And so to me, for some people, right? Yeah. So it might not be butterflying for everybody, but it is about, like, we only get one shot at this thing called life, and we got a book. Fill it, make it interesting.
Yeah.
If it's visiting flowers, great. If it's travel, great. If it's helping people in your community, fill that book and make it exciting.
Yeah.
Okay. Praise be. Praise. We're in church.
We have a lot of people who visit a lot of chlamydia flowers in this audience right now because the yelling is outrageous. I think this is a classic case of the grass is always greener, because I think if you marry or meet your person younger in life, you're gonna, as you get older, go, I look back, I wish I dated a few more people. But if you're on the flip side of it and you haven't found your person and you might be in your 30s or 40s, you're like, no. You want to skip this. All these chlamydia flowers here, we don't like this. We're not enjoying this. We're actually looking for our person. So I think she's being a little naive about what it is to flower around or butterfly around or whatever she's doing with herself. And I also think that it's a little bit disrespectful. And hear me out, I would hate to be sitting next to my partner they have 2 children together, we've built this wonderful life, we have all the success, for them to take to a public platform and say, I wish I'd slept with more people.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, what are you trying to say, that you're not happy? I'm telling you, you think that sleeping with more strangers was gonna make you happier? Listen, having experiences, doing the things you wanna do, writing books, traveling, doing all that stuff, you can still do that and be in a great relationship. I don't know if sleeping with other people is gonna make me a great wife when I meet my husband. I'm not gonna go, this version of me, best version, damaged, the liars, the cheaters, you're getting the best version of me. I don't know if that's how I feel. So I think it's a very interesting thing for her to say.
I think it can work for men as well, because like I butterflied, I flapped my wings all over the place. But Simon didn't butterfly. He didn't flap his wings, and it used to kind of concern me. I was like, oh my God, I'm still in this guy's whole youth. But he was just like, if you flapped one, you flapped them all, like much to your point. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly.
Like, what's the big deal? It kind of looks the same wherever you go.
Acknowledging it is key, because you gave him the choice, to your point, about how Dax would have felt about this. Because I think it leaves him, Dax Shepard, her husband, leaves him in a kind of funny position. There's no response to that. Ryan is also 4 years younger than me, and I met him when I was 29, and he was just 24. before. And I told him, it's legal, it's fine. It's fine. But I tried to push him away a lot. I tried to force him to butterfly, and he just wouldn't. But the fact that I acknowledged it to this day, as far as I know, I think it's working out okay.
Yeah.
So, but you acknowledged it, and you gave him that choice to say, I butterflied, you're good, we're good. And it's worked out, right, Jess?
So far, so good. No need to migrate.
You know, so funny, and this actually reminds me of a conversation that I was just having with a friend of mine, because we know a lot of guys who've butterflied. They did a lot of butterflying. And we're like, you know, there's also this idea that you think that you can have a guy, for example, who has butterflied the whole city, and then turns around, and if you think he can turn around and on a dime, move to the suburbs, have one wife, and be satisfied with that, I think you also need to be a little less naive about that, because there's also the flip side where it's like, yeah, you can't just get that out of your system and then just be this one-woman man.
Butterflies migrate all the way down to Mexico and stuff like that.
They've been around.
That's instinctual. You can't shut that down.
Shut that off, baby.
But also, we're talking about Kristen.
Yeah.
We're talking about Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard. Aren't they actors? Can't they pretend? Can't she? They could be having sex and she could just like pretend he's someone else. He's an actor. He could act like someone else. They're the best people who could be pretending that they're having sex with lots of people. Whatever. Right? And they do sex scenes.
So
like
what
we've all
is she
seen.
complaining about?
I don't know.
What is she complaining about?
She wants something else.
Okay, so Julie, our next topic actually comes from your podcast.
That's right, I have a podcast. Thank you. The Taylor Swift fan is not clapping. That's okay. I'm going to take your phone and subscribe you to my podcast. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Do you want me to?
Yes, tell us about it.
All right, this is our next conversation topic. Okay, so on my podcast called Bothered, I share short, very real stories of things that have actually happened to me. It's kind of like ranty, but also fun and funny. So here's an example. So one time, my family, my husband, daughter, and I went to the park with my husband's friend and his wife. They're just kind of acquaintances. And she was talking about babies the whole time, like, did you breastfeed? Did you do C-section? Like, all that kind of stuff. And then we got to this playground, and she asked if our daughter, who is like 9 months old, had taken her first steps yet. And my husband and I were like, no, but we're getting there. Like, she's just about to take her first steps. And this woman said, oh, let's see if she can do it. So she bent down, and she crouched in front of my child, and she said, come on, let's do it. You can do it. I know. My child could have totally taken her very first steps into the arms of this random woman. Thank you so much. So the question is, should certain childhood milestones be saved for the parents? I certainly know how I feel. What do you think, ladies? Oh.
Okay.
Now I sound like Jess.
Yes.
Now I sound like Jess from earlier. I'm normally a joyful person.
I feel your rage.
Right?
I feel your rage, but for different. I mean, I don't know how many kids you have.
One.
Okay, that makes a difference. That you know of. It makes a difference. I also have one daughter.
I know.
And I knew I would have one, and that was it. I got one shot at those firsts. If someone were to try to usurp any one of those firsts, someone's coming out not alive, and it's not me, okay?
Thank you.
And I know that sounds like strong language, but I'm gonna layer on top of that this thing called mom guilt, which I'm working on. I think we should all work on it. So I came to work really fast after I had her. The show had just launched. I came back after 11 weeks. This was also a baby of mine, and I had another baby. So I knew, listen, I'm gonna miss some things, but the most things possible, I wanna be there. First steps is a big one. First words are a big one. So if someone were to come in and be active like that lady?
Yes, on purpose.
On purpose, I would be like, you are trying to usurp my one shot at something special. And the mom guilt is already there, that I know I'm gonna miss stuff, and I've gotta make tough choices, but that is not a choice that you should take away from any mom. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Don't.
And you hear stories like, other examples, like I remember reading on TikTok a woman who couldn't believe that her mother-in-law, who was babysitting, just decided, oh, your child needs a haircut, and like cut her. Oh, that's hair. I know. So it's stuff like that that's your decision, but you also should be there, right? That kind of thing.
Do you guys think maybe these evil people like have good intentions?
No, for themselves.
No.
For themselves.
Okay.
No.
They don't have good intentions. Like, did you think after, like, well, geez, I guess I could have been a better mother and tried to get my daughter to walk?
No.
You know, she was 9 months. Let's get her going.
When did you take your first steps? No.
12. Yeah.
But now I have that, Gil. Now that thought of it, no, it's okay. No, I was gonna have that moment, everybody, and like, oh, I should have told you that my daughter failed to take her first steps, and I was like, yes. And if it looked like she was about to make it, I was gonna kick her. I was gonna kick her down. Let's try again tomorrow.
But he knows you so much. What if someone was looking after your child and then they took the first
step? Not allowed.
Should they lie?
No, it's part of the contract. You're not allowed.
What if I was babysitting though, and your
you
daughter
don't tell
took
me.
I don't. I lie.
Don't tell.
I lie.
Thank you.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
These are
You
great
take that to
lessons
your
to
grave.
teach a child. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lie.
No. Actually, this is a big learning thing for me because I'm hearing the story and I heard it very differently. Listen, when your friends have babies, when your family members have babies, it's an exciting time for everybody.
She's not my friend.
Okay.
Certainly is not.
And I don't think the intention was bad. I think her intention was like, hey, let's see if we can just get her to do this wonderful thing and we can witness it together.
But she was a mom too, and a precious one at that. So
Okay,
I think
but do you
sorry.
think I'm asking questions because I really don't want to. I don't want to overstep my bounds because in my mind, I want to be the cool auntie. So there have been things that I've done with family members where I'm like, okay, I'm going to be the one who puts your lipstick on for the first time because I'm the one in the family who's into lipstick and makeup and all this stuff. I'm going to give you your first pair of heels because auntie, you know how we are. So, but I would never think that if I'm doing that I'm usurping your mom's power. So I want to know in future for everybody, do I have to ask before I do things?
Yes.
Yes.
God.
Now we know.
Yes.
Now we know.
I think there's a certain age. A lot of the firsts are happening when they're littlest. So if you're taking out a 13-year-old niece, you probably don't need to call mom anymore, but it's not a bad idea depending on what it is. This is the PSA for every cool aunt, fun friend who wants to take the kids. When they're little, if you're thinking it's really exciting, call mom first. Don't call dad, call mom first.
And she might say yes. She might say yes. Like if somebody offered, like, oh, can I potty train your baby? I would have said yeah.
Obviously, that's a good one. Call Andrea.
We can't win. We can't win.
Okay, Julie, there was another story for your podcast that really riled up. Prompter's not going. What did it really rile up?
That's okay. Oh yeah.
Riled up your listeners.
Oh yeah. Okay. Here's another story. By the way, we're like 33 episodes in. They're very short. They're like 10 to 12 minutes long because who has the time to listen to a podcast? And it's very self-indulgent. But here's one that happened. This is the first one that kicked it off. This is the kind of thing that happens to women and women of color when we go places. So I was at a hotel lounge, very fancy hotel. We'll call it the Fairmont. Okay. And I'm in this lounge having beautiful lounge cocktail food, which is like my favorite. I'm on the phone with my girlfriend, normal volume, not speakerphone, and there was an old man at the other end of the lounge, and he did not like the fact that I was talking at a normal volume, not on speakerphone, and he turned around and he goes, oh, shh, shh. Yes.
Wow.
And my reaction was, oh no, never talk to me like that. And then he got up and he got very mad and he walked over, he marched over to the concierge and he was telling on me. I have a video of it, I didn't post it, but he was telling on me. He brought the concierge over as I'm on the phone playing it cool, but at this point I was like, the conversation was all about this. And he was trying to tell the concierge that I did something wrong. The concierge was saying, no, she's fine. She's talking in a normal volume. The man went away and then he started talking to other people and then I went, oh, shh, like that. I had to.
And this is how it starts.
And then
This is how it starts. This is the diss track.
Don't start with me, okay? Yeah. And I watched him and his lady friend leave. They were a little bit embarrassed, and as they left, he apologized to the concierge. And the concierge said, oh, I'm sorry about that. I was being a grumpy man. He didn't apologize to me. He apologized to the concierge and left. And what I did was I carried out a little bit, but I told the manager of the hotel, could you please have a talk with that man? Because he doesn't know how to behave in the lounge. So they talked to him like a child. The next morning, I saw him at the lounge again. He looked at me, no apology. So I walked by and I patted the back of his chair and I bent down and I said menacingly, are you going to behave today? And then I walked away. And I know.
Okay.
Talk about revenge.
Yes, and then?
And these are the kinds of stories that that I tell, and like you won't believe the kinds of things that happen to women. Like you don't understand until you're actually there.
So this is where I hate to cut you off because we're live.
No, let's do it.
Bothered. That is the name of her podcast. I've never heard a better sell for a podcast. So thank you.
Please listen.
That is good.
Yeah. Thank you.
You can find her podcast Bothered anywhere you get your podcast. You can also see Julie in action. She's on Rick Mercer's Stand Up for Canada comedy tour right now. rickmercer.com for tickets.
Subscribe to the Social Podcast so you don't miss a fiery debate. Until next time, socialites.